I'm Josie Halbgewachs, and I'm a cabin leader at camp. I've been coming to camp for 7 years now, and I love it every summer. I grew up in a Christian home and became a believer when I was 3, so I've kind of always been saturated in God and the church. But God really became real to me about 3 years ago when my mom was diagnosed with breast cancer, and we had to walk the journey of cancer and watching her suffer each and every day. And eventually, we just really saw God in a real way come through that way, just by giving us joy and by giving us hope throughout that. And through that circumstance, she ended up, the cancer spread, and that ended up with her passing away 2 years ago. And we were all gathered by her side when she died, and that just really, in that moment, we had a choice to make if we wanted to have hope in Christ or have just be angry with Him for the rest of our lives. And that's when God really, really became real to me, because I saw that He could carry us through tremendous trials. And since then, He's continued to prove that to me, of just with all the other hard things that have happened in our life too. Well, through the death of my mom, I really saw Him come through, because He really just taught me that when all else is failing, He doesn't. And but then 9 months after my mom died, we were just having a quiet night at home, and my dad collapsed on the floor and had a seizure. And it was easily one of the most frightening nights of my life, because watching our only parent who was left, not knowing what was going on, just collapse on the floor. The doctors ended up revealing that there was a mass in his brain, and just a few weeks later he had surgery, and after that they figured out that it was glioblastoma stage 4, which is the worst type of brain cancer you can have, and they gave him 6 months to live. And so that definitely rocked our world, and once again we were faced with the choice of, are we going to have hope in Christ or choose to be upset with what He's doing in our life. And since then, my dad has lived way past when the doctor said, which is great, and he continues just to teach us what it means to rely on Him each day and having to trust Him, knowing that at any moment our lives could change. I think as I'm looking to the future, our future seems very unsure a lot of the times, because I've seen firsthand that life can just change in an instant, and that can be very frightening. But I think one thing that I've been able to learn through all of the hard things that have happened is not to live in fear of the future, but to live in hope of the future, because as believers, we have the greatest hope in the world for the future. We can look to the future and be excited and know that no matter what happens in this life, we get to spend eternity with Christ. And so, as scary as it is to say, I lost my mom to cancer, or I might lose my dad, or who knows what else will happen in between now and when we spend eternity with Him, I know that I can have hope for the future because of Him.